Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to share with you all my friend's interview experience. So a little background about my friend is that person has 1 year of experience and that person applied to TCS company through as an experienced. So when you log into Naukri.com or LinkedIn, so there are multiple jobs which are there. So my friend similarly applied for one of those jobs which was for the experience, that is, so specifically it was the job for .NET developer role for experienced people of 1 to 4 years of experienced people for, as I said, .NET developer role. So my friend accordingly applied for this role and got the interview calls from the HR and everything. So just a brief background is that my friend is also in the .NET domain, so that is why person applied for the .NET role. Similarly, you all can apply for whichever role you find suitable. So on Naukri.com, you can search the roles, you can search companies, you can search different skills and accordingly apply. So once my friend applied, the HR got back and took that person's CV and also wanted to know about the person's current and expected CTC. Next, within 2 to 3 days, that person got the interview link. And in this video, I'm going to discuss the questions that was asked in the interview, and I'm sure this is going to help those people who are looking to change companies, especially to TCS, since the interview is related to TCS. And mind something that this video is not for freshers. This video is for experienced hires, as I said, because the interview was for a 1-year experienced person. So the questions I'm going to share with you all right now. So the first question is a common question which is asked in each and any interview, that is, introduce yourself. So you have to introduce yourself, what you do in your current job, what type of work you do, what type of skills you are, like what type of technologies you are skilled in. So that is basically introduce yourself. So the next question was what project you are working on. So the person wanted to know which project and which technology you are working on currently. The next question is again what technology. So basically which project you are working on and using which technology are you working in that project. Next question was explain the OOPS concept and elaborate them. So basically you all know that there are mainly 4 OOPS concepts like encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, and there is one more. So there are these 4 main concepts. So you basically have to elaborate them through examples. As you know, if you can Google them, then you will find plenty of examples of all these OOPS concepts. And I've seen something that in almost every interview related to all these OOPS related frameworks like Java, .NET, this question is mandatory, that what are the different OOPS concepts and explain them through real life examples. So the next question was to mention the method override syntax. So you know that there are 2 things. One is method overloading and one is method overriding. And this is a very common question to mention the difference between method overloading and method overriding. So my friend was asked about the method overriding and he had to explain through the syntax. Like he had to write down the syntax of method overriding. So just to give an example, suppose the first example, like method overriding, you basically have 2 methods, and in which one method extends, that is, it inherits the properties of another method. So and the thing is that in both the methods, in both the classes, they have one same name method. So suppose you have one class animal and it has one method called void eat, and you have another class, say dog, which extends the animal class, and this also has the same method name eat. So basically method overriding is basically about which eat method is going to be implemented when you call through the main function. Next question that was asked was about the inheritance syntax. So about inheritance is another OOPS concept, as you all know, where one class or one method extends the properties of another class and another method, and you have to write down the syntax for that. Next question was what are the various type of access specifiers and the difference between public, protected, and private. So you know that there are a lot of access specifiers in any OOPS concept or in any programming language, like private, void, public, private, protected. So all these are the access specifiers, and you have to basically mention what are the difference between each of the types. Next question was, so these are all OOPS related questions. The next questions were all SQL related questions. So as you all know, SQL is the backend for querying the database. So the first question is what is stored procedure and how you all write stored procedures, and what is the syntax of stored procedures. The next question is what are functions in SQL servers and how do you all write, how do you define functions, and then what are aggregate functions. So you all know that different types of functions are there in SQL or Oracle, whichever DB you use. So what are basically aggregate functions? And finally, the last question was what is the difference between JavaScript and jQuery. So even though the interview was for a .NET role, as you observe from the questions which I mentioned, that the questions were mainly asked from the OOPS related concepts and from SQL Server. There was absolutely nothing asked from the main topic, which is .NET. So anyway, whatever questions are going to be asked to you are mainly dependent totally on the interviewer, on the recruiter. But yes, these were the questions which were asked to a 1 year experienced person who is looking to switch to TCS. And finally, there were 2 more questions which were asked by the interviewer, that is, what is your current CTC and what is your expected CTC. So these are all the questions which were asked, and I hope that if you are someone who is looking to shift company to TCS, or for the matter of fact to any IT based company, I hope these questions are going to help you. And so yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you have liked this video, and if you have liked this video, please do subscribe to my channel, like my video, share it with your friends, and see you in the next video.